Yeah, so we're just going to talk about a handful of games that defined our 2025. So not necessarily games that came out in 2025, but games that we played in 25 and kind of paints the picture of the landscape of our gaming this year, which I went first last time, so I'll let Pat go first this time.
All right. So, looking at my list, I was trying to figure out what the best way to start this was. I
Mm,
think the best way to jump into this is kind of start with what was a pretty popular genre of games this year. I'm going to start with the friend slap stuff,
okay.
which friend slap. Do we love the name? I don't know, but what I appreciate about these games is all the times we spent laughing and laughing so hard we were crying pretty much for me some points. And the main offenders for this one that I could think of, like Repo and Peak, both dropped this year. Both I've put countless hours into. There was even a phase I think where John and I were, and I think maybe you as well, were dabbling in Lethal Company mods and also Repo mods. So
Mhm.
plenty of hours spent in those games laughing our asses off at like stupid shit. Like just a week
Sure.
ago, I was playing Peak and we were at the Mesa level. My buddy found a stick of dynamite, threw it at me. I was able to get out of the way barely, but I was like, the North remembers. Like 20 minutes later, I throw a stick of dynamite at him. He sees it, but not quick enough to get away. Screams bloody murder and blows up. Like it's that kind of shit you can't recreate in something like The Witcher or Grand Theft Auto. Like it's just time spent with your friends, and for me, that's a lot of why I play games. So want to give it.
GTA might be a bad example. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, that was as soon as I said, I'm like, no, that can happen there too. But
But it's the emergent gameplay, right?
yeah,
I mean, GTA RP, it's it's Arc Raiders, it's all of these friend slop games where it's just like the game is just built to be open enough that you can fill in the details and it's hilarious every time.
yep, yeah. So definitely a huge shout out to that. Um, I almost want to talk about Arc Raiders in that category, but for me, that just kind of feels different enough, so I didn't. But
Sure.
uh, I will pass
It's
it
not
off.
friend slop, but it's the
No,
emergent gameplay thing.
yeah, yeah, that's what connects it really, if anything. But uh, yeah, what's your first pick then? What's something to
I'm
define
gonna
2025
I'm
for
gonna
you?
go kind of in order of the year for me.
Okay.
Uh, so I'm gonna start with Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader, which has spawned my love of Owlcat games, which I tried to go to their headquarters in Cyprus when I was there, but couldn't make it happen, unfortunately. But this is a one of the genres that I love dearly, which is turn-based RPGs. And this one obviously set in the Warhammer universe where you are a rogue trader, which is kind of like the royalty position, short of being the leader himself. And man, this game is, I mean, it was my introduction to Warhammer generally, but just a ton of fun, super dark, super weird with, but all of the actual talking about mechanics and games, like it takes all of those mechanics. It has a lot of them like these kinds of games do, but it actually uses them in a way that um, makes you feel like it matters. And I fucking love this game, and I can't wait for Dark Heresy, which is coming, which is the same company, Owlcat Games, also in Warhammer, but you're not a rogue trader. You're a oh, I can't remember what they're called now. But anyway, looking to hunt out chaos. And that one's coming from Owlcat Games as well. It spawned me to where we've talked about this before, but Owlcat Games could become my favorite developer of all time, depending on how Osiris Reborn goes and Dark Heresy. So, love this game.
Yeah, I remember you were talking this game up a lot when you started playing it. Like, what was that, beginning of this year, I think?
Yeah, I got it like at the end of last year and into the beginning of this year.
Yeah, and I know people love this game, so it's definitely one I want to keep an eye on. I actually have a couple of their Pathfinder games from Alcat in my library that I've been
Which I
eyeing
also
for a
need to
while
play.
too. Yeah, I don't know if those have co-op or not, but maybe we can make that happen. But yeah,
Hmm?
very solid pick.
I'm gonna look that up while you tell me what your next definitive game is.
Ooh, ooh. So this is gonna be, gosh. When I think of the year 2025, I do think of Arc Raiders. I do think of Donkey Kong Bonanza. But what really, this is, I'm trying. I'm looking at my list. There's like two I really, because I could easily talk about Expedition 33. I think that game really affected me in a way that a lot of games haven't for a minute, um, just from every aspect from gameplay to story. But I think that's been talked about enough. So I'm going to talk about a game that nobody ever talks about, Final Fantasy X. Haha, that's a joke because it's also one of the best RPGs ever made. So a little bit of backstory on this: when there's a concert series that tours around the world, really, but I was touring the United States this last year, and my buddy hit me up and asked if I wanted to go, and I was like, absolutely, I love Final Fantasy, I love Final Fantasy music. Um, but looking at the set list, I saw a couple of tracks from Final Fantasy X, so I'm like, I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna finally play this. We're gonna finally get through it, so I don't get spoiled because they'll probably have some footage on the wall. Um, and that's not what ended up happening. I ended up getting spoiled on a game that I was playing and was slow burning for like 2 years, but that's a different story altogether. Um, but what I got with Final Fantasy X was a game that is it wears its heart on its sleeve and how somber it turns into. Because it is a JRPG. It's a story about this kid who's kind of thrown forward through time. It's an isekai, if you know what that means. Uh, and then it goes from I'm trying to figure out where I am in this world to, oh shit, how do we fight fate? How do we fight against what destiny has laid out for me and my friends? And it's kind of heavy. It's at some points very silly. It's very early 2000s. Whether that means everything's extreme games coded with blitzball, or early 2000s anime dubs where it's like they don't know what they're doing quite yet. um, it's very charming. The battle system is very good. The way you level up in that game, there's no levels. It's all about collecting orbs to put and invest into your character's stats on their grid sphere, which is something you don't really see in any JRPG, really. I think that part still holds up. I think there's a lot of stuff that doesn't hold up, but I was just really taken by the story of this game and the gameplay of it. So if you're an RPG fan, if you're a JRPG fan, and you've not played Final Fantasy X, I definitely recommend it.
Final Fantasy is like the one of the series where I'm like, it's so far gone at this point that there's no way I'm ever gonna. It's too daunting to ever jump in.
Well, if you ever do, John made an oath that if I ever watched the first like a season of Arrested Development, he would play a Final Fantasy game, and I think Final Fantasy X would be a perfect entry point, whether it's you or John. So this one's rather linear, at least for like 90% of it. So I think you wouldn't have an issue with that open world nature of most Final Fantasy games. I digress. I could talk about that game for a while. It's a special game, but
Ooh.
I wanna hear what your third second game is.
This is the big one. This is the one where if I could only pick one, it would be this game. And we've joked about it in the past, so it's not a secret to those who listen, but it's Out of the Park Baseball 26, which I
Mm-hmm.
have pushing 800 hours in this year. So it's an absurd number, but this game is fucking incredible. It hits the dopamine in my brain in just the right way. And it's incredibly niche, so most people won't like it. But just what it is you are the general manager slash coach, head coach of any of the MLB franchises. So you manage everything from hiring coaches to signing players to trades to the budget to your all of your minor league affiliates, promoting and demoting, and all of that. And you can play effectively forever in a simulation. Um, and I'm on my current game. I'm like in the 2060s, so I've played quite a ways out. It's incredible, in so in depth. Like if you are a baseball fan, which listen, the joke is made all the time of like baseball is the game for autistic people, and that's just true. And this is like an extension of that into, if you are a person about the stats with, the 20 to 80 scale into with all of the next gen stats like WAR and WOBA and all of that kind of stuff, like all of that is in here and you can track all of it and it's peak. It is the best of the best for my type of brain. I can't give it any more praise than it's fucking incredible.
Uh, I was laughing not at you. I love that this game clicks so much for you. And I think that's the beauty of gaming, that there's something like this for everyone. What I was laughing at was I went to the Steam page for this game, and it says one friend already owns this game, and it's you, and it says played 31.9 hours. I'm like, that can't be right. I moused over it. That's 31.9 hours played recently.
Yeah, yeah. I guess I should say too, like you don't actually play the games in the sense that like in like MLB The Show where you bat and pitch and all that. You don't
Hmm.
do any of that. That's all simulated. Like you could watch a game and do the coaching where you do subs, but you don't play actually. And so this is the kind of game like it's a little bit inflated that number because like I play it when I'm doing stuff around the house. So like I'll do some stuff in the
Sure.
game and then I'll walk away and go make food or
Hmm.
do something like that. But because there's not something happening, um, and you have to press a button to like move forward days or months or whatever the case may be. It's the perfect game for like when I'm just chilling and I'm dealing with the dogs or making
Hmm.
food or whatever, and every day grown up adult life.
Yeah. No, that's I love all of that for you. I think I look at that and my eyes start glazing over. Um, so I'm glad that it works so well for you, and I'm sure it works for so many other people. I'd be curious to look at the Steam charts for that, but I love that pick.
It's also 80% off right now because I guess they've moved to the yearly release thing. So the baseball season's over, so you could get it for like $10 or something like that.
Yeah,
If you're one of those people who's like, that's kind of interesting, maybe I'll try it.
definitely take a look at it. It's more in depth than you'd expect.
Oh, it's there's in like one of the beauties of it is we're going way too deep on this at this point because
uh,
most people don't care. But
right.
is like you can scale up or scale down the complexity. So like if you only
Oh.
want to do the MLB team, you can have it do all of the minor league stuff for you. If you don't want to set lineups or set pitchers, you only want to like sign people. Like you can change all of those settings. It's like a true simulation, and you can do all sorts of crazy stuff. Like they have all of the players and stats from all of the years back to like the 1900s. So if
Hmm.
you wanted to play like the 1901 season as like the New York Yankees or whatever, like you could. Uh, so yeah, that's one of the beautiful things of it is like you can really scale up or down how in depth
Hmm.
you care or what parts you care about.
No, that's definitely interesting for people that care about baseball and numbers like that. That's definitely not me, but I respect it immensely for sure. So my last pick it's gonna be another pick or game that did not come out this year, but it's a game that I played in a different way with our good buddy John. For those of you who don't know, our third co-host just recently had a child, and right before he did, we had a run of Pokemon Platinum for the Nintendo DS that we were playing through, trying to get through it before he had his kid, and for multiple reasons, it kind of fell apart. Mostly my fault. I won't get into it. Um, but it was for like a month and a half, 2 months, however long we spent playing it. It was kind of a way that allowed me to look at this game in a new light. Because Pokemon Platinum came out like when we were probably middle school ish, about.
I
Um,
remember when it came out and I got it for Christmas or Easter.
yeah, that was, I think, the first Pokemon game I got at launch, or close to at least. And played through it like a dumb kid, where it's like I just spammed one of my guys until like beat the Elite Four. It is what it is. Um, but the way we played it, it was a Nuzlocke challenge, and where if you don't aren't familiar, it's where you catch one Pokemon for every named location or route, and if it dies, it dies. So it kind of makes you really think about your decisions, and to kind of top it all off, our Pokemon were connected. So like the guy I catch on Route like 2 is connected to the guy that John caught on Route 2. So if one of those dies, then the other person's Pokemon dies, even if they didn't faint in battle. Um, so a lot of challenge there, a lot of stress, a lot of heated arguments and tears, but also just sighs of relief when we finally beat it. A random trainer that happened to have Regirock and Registeel for some fucking reason. Because we also randomized it. I forgot to mention that. It forced me in a way to kind of really look at a game like Pokemon that seems at its surface like easy, and it forced me to be like, well, okay, this thing is level so and so. It's mostly a physical wall, so maybe I should attack with a special attack. You know, it's a lot of little stuff like that. But it was also kind of one of the, it kind of felt not like a last hurrah. That seems a little bit dramatic, but like, you know, all of our lives are going to be changed dramatically once John had his kid, and this was kind of like our last big moment, to do this before the kid came, and then of course the kid came, and we still played anyway. So it is what it is. But it almost felt like in a positive way what the moon coming down into the earth in Majora's Mask felt like, but again in a positive way. And it was just they're just kind of like playing games. Boiled it down to its essentials. It's playing a game with your best friends, whether or not you remain friends at the end of the night's a different story. But it's like that's kind of what gaming's all about, I guess. And that seems to be the recurring theme for my picks tonight. But definitely, when I think of 2025, that's one of the games I'll be thinking of for sure. So yeah, definitely starting a new run of another game soon. I don't think it'll mean as much to me.
I can't. I mean, I'm at the stage where I could only ever play Pokemon as a Nuzlocke. So
Mm-hmm.
like like I Nuzlocke Emerald, love that shit. I mean, Emerald's my favorite of all the Pokemon games. So,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
but yeah, I can't even play normal Pokemon anymore. Although
it
that's not new for me. It's probably been, I mean, since Diamond,
yeah.
really.
I like playing games I'm not familiar with as like normal Pokemon, but I'm playing a ROM hack of Emerald that's like Pokemon, like Pokemon Gold and Silver, like on the Game Boy Color. Like it's got that style, that art style. It's very good if you like Pokemon Emerald and Gen 2 games. But that's I'm doing a Nuzlocke of that. That's going okay actually, but that's neither here nor there. So what, you got one more game for us, Austin? Then we can let the people go.
Yeah, I'll give, I had to, I'll only talk about one other than to say, because I already talked about Escape from Duckov last time. So
Mm-hmm.
go to the end of the last episode and you can see my speak about Escape from Duckov because that's on there.
It's
But the
good.
other one I'll talk about is Dispatch,
Mm.
which if you guys don't know, Dispatch is some of the former Telltale devs created a new studio and they created a basically like the next evolution, I guess, of Telltale games since it went under, where you play as a, I guess, ex superhero who's lost his ability to be a superhero, and so he does superhero dispatching, where crimes happen around LA, and you send out different superheroes to go deal with the issue, and it's all built around that same Telltale style, where it's mostly narrative driven, like almost literary novel style. But this has a lot more gameplay than even the old Telltale games had with the dispatching part. And it kind of rejuvenated my love for that kind of genre of the video games. The obviously, the first season of and following seasons, I guess, of The Walking Dead Telltale and the Tales from the Borderlands, incredible. Loved those. But I don't think this one comes together in all the ways, but I think it's a really good game and a game that I spent, over the however many weeks it was, like 4 weeks that it was coming out, and even a couple weeks after that. I spent a good amount of time thinking about it after every set of episodes came out and like what was going to happen and how you could play it differently and all of that kind of stuff. And that's how you know you have a good game. Like
Mm-hmm.
I always think about like the best of games are when I'm dreaming or I wake up and I'm thinking about that game. Like when Fortnite first came out, before builds got out of control, like I used to see in my mind like gold guns. Like that's when you know you've really reached the next level. Dispatch not quite on that level, but one where when I'm not playing the game, I'm still thinking about it.
Hmm. Yeah, this one one of the ones I missed this year. There's a few like it, but this one was one that kind of hurt a little bit because I love the Walking Dead games. Tales from the Borderlands, probably one of my favorite games of all time. It's up there at least, probably top 50. Who knows? Um, but I know that like games like that.
If it's one of your favorites, I hope it's top 50. Jeez.
Well, um, but I just know that like games like that where it's like a good story with heart and good writing. It's like that's all you need. And everything I hear about this, it like sounds like it's clicking all the right boxes for me. Where it's like Z tier villains slash heroes, coming together, figuring out that they care about each other. I don't know actually about the full story. That's just kind of me filling in the blanks a little bit. But it seems like it's hitting all the right notes for me as far as games like this go. So definitely one I want to check out. I know a lot of people love it.